Hey artists! Today we're going to learn all about oil pastels. So go ahead and grab your sketchbook and let's get started. We're going to start off by learning a little bit about what oil pastels are and how to use them. Oil pastels are made with oil, wax, and pigment, which is the type of coloring that is in them. And they kind of have this waxy, creamy, very soft feel to them. They come in a stick form, which is very similar to crayons, so there's our similarity there. Depending on the way that you hold your oil pastel, you can get some different effects from it. So for example, if you draw with the tip, you'll get a very narrow line, very much like a crayon, but if you unwrap the packaging just a little bit and you draw from the side, you get a very large area of this bumpy, scratchy texture. Now keep in mind that oil pastels are very soft because they are made with wax, so if you end up breaking them like I did, no worries, that's all part of the art making process. Just keep on going. Now let's try experimenting with these oil pastels. Let's do a pressure test. I'm going to take a few different colors and barely press on the oil pastels, barely press on the paper. Then I'm going to try the opposite and do a really heavy pressure, pushing hard. And you'll notice that when I start to do that heavy pressure, if I go too much, I start to get chunks, it starts to get bumpy. I'm going to make a little note of that in my notebook that a heavier pressure does give beautiful bright colors, but it can get chunky and we do not want our art to be chunky. Another thing you may notice as you go along, layering colors makes the oil pastels kind of dirty sometimes. All you need to do to fix that and to get your colors clean again is to get a paper towel and wipe off that dirt off of your oil pastel. Easy peasy. Now let's try another experiment where clean oil pastels will come in handy. We are going to try layering and blending different colored oil pastels together. I'm going to try layering blue and yellow first and seeing what color that gets me. Note that I am going in with a light pressure when I'm layering my colors, so hopefully I don't get any chunks. While blending, I'm going to experiment with using both heavy pressure and light pressure. I'm going to use heavy pressure where I want the color to stand out the most and light pressure where I want it to blend the most. Then I'm going to layer over the colors a second time to make them a little brighter. Now I did press a little bit too hard and it did get a little bit chunky, but that's okay. Let's try using our finger to blend it in a little bit more. If you don't like using your fingers, you can totally use a paper towel instead. Alright, I think we've experimented enough that now we could try applying all of our knowledge into a drawing. Here I just did a little apple doodle, and I'm going to try combining all of the knowledge that we've just learned into this one drawing. I'm going to experiment with light pressure and heavy pressure, layering and blending. Remember that in this drawing, we're just practicing. Don't worry about making mistakes. Don't worry about being messy. It's all part of the art making process. Beautiful! Now that we're all finished with our drawing, let's end on a reflection. I learned that I really like the bright colors of oil pastels, but I should be starting with a light pressure so that I don't get chunks of oil pastels in my drawings. I hope you learned something new today too, and I hope you had fun doing it. Thank you so much for watching and making art with me. Keep creating, and I'll see you in the next video.